All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi convenes all-party meeting this evening to discuss situation along India-China border. India asks China to confine its activities to its side of LAC. Tamil Nadu government imposes full lockdown in Chennai and its suburbs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says yoga provides multi-dimensional solutions to COVID-19. Centre to launch Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan tomorrow in 116 districts to boost livelihood in rural areas. And elections for 19 Rajya Sabha seats spread over 8 states to be held today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has convened an all-party meeting at 5 this evening to discuss the situation along the India-China border. In a tweet, PMO said the virtual meeting will be attended by presidents of various political parties. The meeting assumes significance in the wake of recent violent face-off between Indian and Chinese troops in the Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh. Details from our correspondent.
The Prime Minister's call for the all-party meeting is very crucial as it points to the need for a political consensus on the border conflict with China. Agency reports suggest that Chinese side suffered over 40 casualties, including dead and seriously injured, in the face-off in the Galwan Valley. U.S. intelligence reports also suggest that the Chinese army suffered heavy casualties during the violent clash with the Indian military in eastern Ladakh, Galwan Valley. The Ministry of External Affairs said the violent face-off between armies of India and China in eastern Ladakh was the result of an attempt by the Chinese side to unilaterally change the status quo in the region. MEA said both sides suffered casualties that could have been avoided had the agreement arrived earlier at the higher level been scrupulously followed by the Chinese side. Anupam Mishra, AI News, Delhi.
External Affairs Ministry has said India and China have been discussing through military and diplomatic channels the de-escalation of the situation in the border area in eastern Ladakh. On 6th of this month, the corps commanders of both nations held a meeting in the Chushul-Moldo region where an agreement was reached on de-escalation and disengagement along the line of actual control LAC. Ground commanders were meeting regularly to implement this consensus throughout last week. Briefing media, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said, while it was India's expectation that this would unfold smoothly, the Chinese side departed from the consensus to respect the LAC in the Galwan Valley. He said they took premeditated and planned action that was directly responsible for the violence and casualties suffered by both sides. He added that this could have been avoided had the agreement at the higher level been scrupulously followed by the Chinese side. The spokesperson stated that India is very clear that all its activities are always within the Indian side of the LAC given its responsible approach to border management. He said India expects the Chinese side to also confine its activities to its side of the LAC.
While we remain firmly convinced of the need for maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas and the resolution of differences through dialogue, at the same time, as Honorable PM stated yesterday, we are also strongly committed to ensuring India's sovereignty and territorial integrity.
The government has rejected senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's allegation that Indian soldiers were sent unarmed to martyrdom in Ladakh. In a tweet, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said all Indian troops guarding the border always carry arms, especially when leaving post, and those at Galwan on the 15th of June did so. He added that it is a long-standing practice, as per 1996 and 2005 agreements, not to use firearms during face-offs. Earlier in the day, Mr. Gandhi had questioned why Indian soldiers were sent unarmed to martyrdom in Ladakh and who is responsible for sending them towards danger. The Army has clarified that there are no Indian troops missing in action at Galwan. The Army sources clarified this following an article published in New York Times making such claim on the India-China face-off. In Punjab, the mortal remains of martyr Naib Subedar Satnam Singh of village Bhojpur in Gurdaspur district and Naib Subedar Mandeep Singh of Seal village in Patiala district were consigned to flames at their native villages with full military honours yesterday. They had sacrificed their lives for the country during LAC standoff with Chinese troops. People in large numbers expressing anti-China sentiments gathered in the villages to pay the last respect to the departed souls. The civil administration also paid homage to the departed soldiers at the cremation grounds.
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has announced an ex gratia of 36 lakh rupees each to the families of 5 martyrs of the state who made supreme sacrifice for the country in the violent face-off with Chinese troops at Galwan Valley in Ladakh. He also announced that one dependent of each of the martyrs' family will be provided job by the state government. 5 of the 20 army personnel martyred in Galwan Valley were from Bihar: Havaldar Sunil Kumar from Patna, Sepoys Chandan Kumar from Bhojpur, Kundan Kumar from Saharsa, Aman Kumar from Samastipur and Jai Kishore Singh from Vaishali were from the 16th Battalion of Bihar Regiment Centre. Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India, DFCCIL, has decided to terminate the contract with Beijing National Railway Research and Design Institute of Signal and Communication Group Limited. In a statement, DFCCIL said the contract has been terminated due to poor performance of the company. In 2016, the Chinese company had won the contract to install signaling system and telecommunications work in over 400 km of rail lines of Kanpur Deen Dayal Upadhyay section. DFCCIL said, despite the passage of 4 years, there is only 20% progress in the work.
Elections for 19 Rajya Sabha seats spread over 8 states will be held today. Of the 19 seats, 4 each are from Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat, 3 each from Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, 2 from Jharkhand and 1 each from Manipur, Mizoram and Meghalaya. In Karnataka, where elections were to be held for 4 seats, all the candidates have been declared elected unopposed. They are former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda, Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge, BJP candidates Iranna Kadadi and Ashok Gasti. BJP nominee Nabam Rebia was also elected unopposed to the lone Rajya Sabha seat from Arunachal Pradesh. The counting of votes for all the 19 seats will be held this evening. Legislators vote to elect candidates for the upper house of Parliament. Election Commission has made elaborate arrangements for the voting, keeping in mind the coronavirus pandemic. Every voter MLA will be screened for body temperature and will have to use mask and adhere to social distancing norms. Legislators having a fever or showing other symptoms will be kept in separate waiting rooms.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan tomorrow to boost livelihood opportunities in rural India. The Prime Minister will launch the campaign through video conference in the presence of Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar. The campaign will be launched from Telehar village at Beldor block in Khagadia district of Bihar. It aims to provide livelihood opportunities to the returnee migrant workers and rural citizens. Briefing media about the scheme, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana, with an outlay of 50,000 crore rupees, will cover 116 districts in 6 states, namely Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and Rajasthan.
For those 116 districts, some of whom are aspirational districts, and ensure that all those Shramik in those districts are going to be given employment, and therefore for them, for the next 4 months, we are clearly showing a direction through which their skills, person days will be used so that assets will be created in those districts, whether it is digging of wells, poultry sheds, or laying of Gram Sadak Yojana roads.
She said workers from all over the country wanted to go back to their villages after the lockdown began, and central and state governments made some arrangements and they have gone back. The minister said the government looked at the districts to which they have largely returned. She said the centre and state governments have meticulously mapped the skill sets of the migrant workers who have returned in large numbers to the 116 districts. The minister said nearly 25 schemes of the central government are being brought together under Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan for 116 districts. She said the objectives under these schemes will be achieved within 125 days by offering work to migrant workers and rural citizens.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reviewed the situation arising out of Oil India Limited's oil well blowout and fire in Bhagjan in Tinsukia district of Assam. The Prime Minister has assured people of Assam that Government of India is fully committed to providing support and relief and rehabilitation to the affected families. He said the centre is standing with the state government in this difficult time due to the unfortunate incident. Mr. Modi also directed the Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry that this incident should be studied and documented so that learnings become useful in the future. During the review meeting, it was informed that the detailed plan has been drawn with the help of Indian and foreign experts to control the flow of gas from the well and to cap it. The plan is being executed as per the prepared schedule and it is proposed to cap the well on the 7th of next month after taking all necessary safety precautions. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi convenes all-party meeting this evening to discuss the situation along India-China border. India asks China to confine its activities to its side of LAC. Tamil Nadu government imposes full lockdown in Chennai and its suburbs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says yoga provides multi-dimensional solutions to COVID-19. Centre to launch Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan tomorrow in 116 districts to boost livelihood in rural areas. And elections for 19 Rajya Sabha seats spread over 8 states to be held today. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
अपने साथ अपनों का ध्यान रखो, बड़े बुजुर्गों का तुम ध्यान रखो, तो बात करो, कुछ मदद करो, कोरोना के चलते याद रखो, घर से निकलो तो मास्क पहनना, मास्क के पीछे मुस्कुराना, सुरक्षित दादा दादी नाना नानी अभियान, अपने साथ अपनों का ध्यान.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has appealed to people to mark 6th International Yoga Day on Sunday at home with family while following all norms of physical distancing. In a video message, Mr. Modi said, "We are marking the 6th International Yoga Day in extraordinary times." He said the world is fighting a pandemic of monumental scale, but yoga provides multidimensional solutions to multiple challenges COVID-19 has brought.
We are marking the 6th Yoga Day in extraordinary times. Usually, Yoga Day is about public events, mass participation. This year, Yoga Day goes indoors. The theme of the year is Yoga at Home and Yoga with Family. The world is fighting a pandemic of monumental scale, but yoga provides multi-dimensional solutions to the multiple challenges COVID-19 has brought.
Mr. Modi said yoga gives people an opportunity to know their immune system better, enables strong mind and healthy body. He said yoga has potential to cater to mental, physical and psychological challenges. The Prime Minister said in post-COVID era, the focus on preventive health care will get stronger. He expressed confidence that yoga will be more popular. Mr. Modi expressed happiness over growing popularity of yoga in last few years, especially among the youth. The government today lifted the export ban on anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine with immediate effect. Director General of Foreign Trade in a notification said the export policy of hydroxychloroquine active pharmaceutical ingredients API and its formulations from prohibited to free with immediate effect. The government on 25th of March had banned the export of the drug in the wake of the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic.
The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has directed the states and union territories to ensure timely payment to the doctors and health workers who are serving the country during the COVID-19 crisis. The Health Ministry asked the Chief Secretaries of the states and union territories to ensure strict compliance of the order by all the concerned agencies. It said violation of the order would be treated as an offence under the Disaster Management Act and action will be taken against the defaulting hospitals and institutions authorities. The recovery rate of COVID-positive cases continues to increase and currently stands at 52.96%. A total of 1,94,324 individuals have been cured so far. Currently, over 1,60,000 active cases are under medical supervision. The Health Ministry said in the last 24 hours, over 1,65,000 samples were tested. The total number of samples tested till date is over 62 lakh. The number of government labs has been increased to 699, while private labs has been increased to 254. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has launched India's first mobile iLab, infectious disease diagnostic lab for COVID-19 testing to promote last-mile testing access. It will be deployed in remote, interior and in inaccessible parts of the country.
Health Ministry has issued an advisory for managing healthcare workers working in COVID and non-COVID areas of the hospital. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry said an infection control officer cum nodal officer will be identified by each hospital to address all matters related to healthcare associated infections to prevent and manage the COVID-19 infection among the healthcare workers. The nodal officer will ensure that healthcare workers shall use personal protective equipments, PPEs, as per their risk profile while on duty. In the advisory, it is said all healthcare workers managing COVID-19 cases are being provided with chemoprophylaxis under medical supervision. Healthcare workers have been asked to use appropriate PPE during their duties, and any breach in PPE and exposure should immediately be brought into the notice of the nodal officer of the department. It is advised that all the healthcare workers must report every exposure to COVID-19 to the concerned nodal officer of the department immediately. To ensure farmers' income in the wake of COVID-19 epidemic, Himachal Pradesh government is providing markets for farmers to sell their vegetables in neighbouring states. State Agriculture Department is playing an important role in transporting these vegetables to other states and making available to the mandis. A report.
After the lockdown was imposed in the state, more than 6 lakh quintals of green peas, cabbage and various other off-season vegetables produced by the farmers of the state were sent to neighboring states for sale. To overcome the transportation problem, farmers and traders were provided information about 5 lakh trucks and 20,000 tractors through Kisan Rath Mobile so that they could reach various mandis within and outside the state. All this became possible with the help of officials of Agriculture Department of the state government who played a significant role in providing market to the farmers in neighboring states. As a result, farmers got good price for their produce. Due to the continuous functioning of agriculture market yards and agriculture produce collection centers, there is no shortage of foods and vegetables in the state, and it has also helped farmers from economic losses during this global crisis. Sanjeev Sundrial, AIR News, Shimla.
In Chhattisgarh, many Maoists are reported to be infected from coronavirus in Bastar area. Police said the Maoists are expelling their corona-infected cadres from the organization. We have a report.
Police has recently arrested a female Maoist from Bijapur district of Bastar division in Chhattisgarh. It is alleged that this woman was associated with the Maoist organization for nearly 10 years. Recently, the Maoist expelled her from the organization after symptoms of cold, cough and fever. Police has taken this woman Maoist into custody and conducted her health test in the hospital and has been kept in quarantine. During interrogation, this woman told the police that many Maoists are getting symptoms of corona infection and the Maoist organization is forcing such cadres to leave the organization. The Inspector General of Police of Bastar Range, Sundaraj P, has appealed to the local people to immediately inform the police if the people expelled from the Maoist organization due to the symptoms of corona come back to the village, so that steps can be taken for the corona test of such people as well as prevention of corona infection. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
Amid demand for oxygen surging in hospitals due to rising number of coronavirus cases in Mumbai and the current facilities unable to meet the requirements, the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation BMC is in the final stage of completing installation of huge liquid oxygen tanks at 20 places, including key civic-run hospitals KEM, Nair, Sion and at Jumbo facilities. Platforms to install the cylinders have been constructed and the installation process will be completed next week. More from our correspondent.
According to the Additional Municipal Commissioner of BMC, P. Velarasu, oxygen demand in most of the hospitals in Mumbai has increased by nearly 5 times. He said hospitals have been complaining about low oxygen pressure in their pipe supply. There have been instances where some patients turned critical due to a dip in pressure. Therefore, the BMC decided to upgrade the capacity in hospitals with 13 tanks of 13 kiloliter capacity and 4 with 6 kiloliter capacity. The tanks are being supplied from Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. Most of the jumbo facilities will get the 13 kiloliter tanks. At some places, 2 tanks will be installed to meet the demand. The civic body is also aiming to set up more beds with oxygen support at its jumbo health facilities at BKC, NSCI Worli, Nesco Goregaon, Dahisar and Mulund. With Sweety Jain, Shailesh Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Chennai and its suburbs, the full lockdown has come into effect from midnight last night. It will be enforced till the end of the month, as announced by the Tamil Nadu government. Meanwhile, the total COVID-19 infection in the state has zoomed to 52,334, with 2,141 people tested positive yesterday. More details from our correspondent.
The full lockdown in Chennai and its suburbs is necessitated by the pouring new cases of COVID-19 for the past many days in the region. Shops will be open till 2 p.m. during the 12 days from today. Relaxations are being extended only to medical and other essential services. The health, revenue and police officials in Chennai, Chengalpattu, Kanchipuram and Tiruvallur districts have prepared an elaborate action plan to implement the full lockdown. The public bus transport already stands withdrawn for quite long in the region, though flight and long-distance train travel continues as per the existing schedule of the service providers. Though ATMs will function normally, banks will be open only during the last 2 days of the month, as announced by the state government. However, in other parts of the state, the unlock phase 1 continues. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone numbers 1-800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by #AskAir. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has on various occasions urged for active participation of both citizens and frontline COVID warriors to weed out the stigma attached with coronavirus infection and its patients. In the same light, debunking all rumors and stigma attached with coronavirus, Dr. Anjan Trikha, chairman of Clinical Managerial Group of the COVID Centers at AIIMS, New Delhi, said that people nowadays are overexposed to social media and unverified news sources.
There's a lot of information which is on social media which may or may not be right or true. Now what we can do about it? We just have to tell people that whatever they think is not right. Information, more information and more information. And that is the only way out. We need to be talking about that they are not infective, they are not likely to give it to anybody else. As long as due precautions are taken, it is really unfortunate that the healthcare workers are being targeted. I would like to request everybody around that in case you want authenticated information, then you must watch it on Delhi Doordarshan TV programs or All India Radio channels. These are the channels and the TV channels which are going to give you the correct picture of a problem.
Dr. Nand Kumar of All India Institute of Medical Sciences has said that people should take all necessary precautions as advised by various health agencies when they step out of their homes.
यदि आपको लगता है कि आपको थोड़ा बाहर जाना है तो उसके लिए भी सावधानी बरतें आप। जैसे WHO ने कहा, जो हमारे जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ है, जो स्वास्थ्य संस्थाएं हैं, वो भी कह रही हैं कि आप फेस मास्क का उपयोग करें। आप अपना हाथ जब भी आप कुछ बाहरी चीज को छुएं तो उसको साबुन से धोएं या सैनिटाइजर से साफ करें। जब भी किसी को खांसी होती है उससे दूरी बना कर रखें।
Participating in our live phone-in program on COVID-19, Dr. Nandakumar said that it is important for everyone to be strong as individuals and as a family during such hard times, and that the effects of this pandemic won't last very long.
जब भी कोई महामारी आती है तो इसका असर कुछ दिन तक रहता है और धीरे धीरे खत्म हो जाता है, लेकिन हमें ये समझने की जरूरत है कि ये वक्त निकल जाएगा, लेकिन ये कठिन वक्त होता है और इस कठिन वक्त के समय हम कैसे अपने आप को संभालें, कैसे परिवार को संभालें, ये शायद हमें समझने की जरूरत है.
World Health Organization's chief scientist, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, has said that the agency is optimistic and hopeful that the COVID-19 vaccines could be available before the end of this year. She said there are about 10 candidates which are in human testing phase, and at least 3 of them are entering the new promising phase 3 stage, which proves a vaccine's efficacy. If we are lucky, there will be 1 or 2 successful candidates before the end of this year, she added. The chief scientist said that the agency hopes that there will be about 2 billion doses of a vaccine against COVID-19 by the end of next year that would be reserved for priority populations. The number of people killed by coronavirus worldwide passed 450,000 mark. According to Johns Hopkins University, 450,835 people have died from COVID-19 out of 84,10,682 cases reported across the world. With over 21 lakh cases and over 1,18,000 deaths, the US continues with the world's highest number of COVID-19 infections and fatalities.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature will be 26 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum will be around 42 degrees Celsius. The city will observe mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Srinagar, the temperature will be between 14 and 30 degrees Celsius. City will face mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Gilgit, the temperature will hover between 15 and 34 degrees Celsius. Sky becoming partly cloudy towards with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. In Muzaffarabad, the sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The city will witness minimum temperature of 22 degrees Celsius, while maximum temperature will be around 39 degrees Celsius.
The national capital, Delhi, will witness a minimum temperature of 30 and maximum of 44 degrees Celsius. There will be partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder, lightning. Mumbai will witness generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum and maximum temperature will hover between 27 and 32 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature will be 27, while the maximum will be around 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai will see generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The temperature will be between 29 and 38 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most newspapers today carry heart-rending pictures of last tributes being paid to the brave hearts who were martyred during the recent face-off with Chinese troops at Galwan Valley. Martyrs cremated with state honours, writes the Tribune. Taking a step further towards a self-reliant India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday launched the auction of 41 coal mines for commercial mining. Quoting the PM, the Hindustan Times headline reads, "Coal mines auction will unlock sector." The Business Standard in a story states, "Unlock 1.0 impact. Sales take off as malls limp back to normalcy. Electronics, clothing, home accessories top customers list." It's Namaste all the way. Mail today carries a picture of French President Emmanuel Macron and Duchess of Cornwall Camilla greeting each other with folded hand instead of the usual handshake. The Indian Express talks about the Gautam Budh Nagar district jail, which boasts of a jail radio which has come as a blessing for the inmates. The headline reads, "In times of corona, jail inmates play radio jockey to soothe nerves." And reiterating that nothing deters the enthusiast, the Pioneer informs that a series of online programs are scheduled to celebrate the major astronomical event, annual solar eclipse on coming Sunday.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi convenes all-party meeting this evening to discuss situation along India-China border. India asks China to confine its activities to its side of LAC. Tamil Nadu government imposes full lockdown in Chennai and its suburbs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says yoga provides multi-dimensional solutions to COVID-19. Centre to launch Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan tomorrow in 116 districts to boost livelihood in rural areas. And elections for 19 Rajya Sabha seats spread over 8 states to be held today. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.